I'm attorney Mark Nicholson from the Law Office of Mark Nicholson. I'm here today to talk about jury deliberations. Well, I was wrong. I thought for sure they would have come up with a verdict on Friday, and they did not. They deliberated, and the judge released them to go home, and now they are released to their own devices. Yes, they're admonished to not do any kind of research, to not look things up on the internet, not talk to family about it, but they're policing themselves. There's no monitor or anything like that that is preventing them from looking up this information. So I would anticipate, because that's what people do, curiosity, they're probably going, some of them are probably going back, looking at the information on the internet, going to those biased websites, those biased news reports that paint him so guilty, and that is going to affect their opinion. Now, what this means is some people believe he's guilty. That's why they can't come up with a verdict. So the chance of him being convicted are great. My opinion has not changed. I still think the verdict should be not guilty. I really do not think that the state has proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. However, because they did not reach a verdict, some people think he's guilty. And they're going to have the weekend to think about it and to talk to their spouse about it, even though they're not supposed to. But they can do that. And the only way they're going to be found out is if they report themselves or someone sees them or knows and then reports it. So their opinion of his guilt is going to probably get stronger. On the flip side, you're going to have people that think he's innocent, not guilty. That's why there's no verdict. And because of that, they may have the same feeling that I'm not changing my opinion, I'm not changing my opinion. And they may go and look and either find something that supports their position or find something that's against their position and then change it. Who knows? But the risk of him getting found guilty has seriously increased, guilty of something. And also the risk of a hung jury is there. So I think now that they did not reach a verdict, the risk of a hung jury where they cannot reach a verdict or him being found guilty of something is high. Hopefully I'm wrong again. And I never said I was a prophet. I never said I could tell the future. Never said I was a fortune teller. But just in my experience, by the deliberations going on long like this, that means that he is definitely at risk of being found guilty of something. That's what I'm saying when it comes to juries. You just never know. You just never know. The people of the jury, on the jury, have their own minds, have their own biases, and you just never know. That's why jury trials are so risky. But in this case, he didn't have a choice. He had to go to trial. And that's why I'm wearing this shirt, the Justice League. The Justice League. Is Jonathan Majors going to get justice in this case? Is Jonathan Majors going to get justice? Is he going to be found not guilty and get justice? And I'm sure there are some people that think justice for him would be to be found guilty, and justice would be for Grace Jabari to get a verdict in her favor. Now, I believe that he should be found not guilty based upon the evidence that was presented in this case. The problem is if jurors don't listen to the court's instructions and research and do other things, and they hear about this past incident, which is kind of vague about really what happened, and they believe that this is what happened in the past, that he beat her in the past. Well, if he did it before, he did it again. Or if he did it and got away with it in the past, and now he did it again, or maybe he didn't do it again, but because he did it in the past, we're going to convict him this time. This is some of the mentality that jurors could be using. The problem is that some jurors may think because of those texts that are out there and they're kind of vague about what really happened, they could say to themselves, well, if he did it in the past, he did it again. Or if he did in the past and got away with it, even though he may or not have done it this time, he did it in the past and should pay this time. Because of whatever happened in the past, which is kind of ambiguous, could come back and haunt him. And that was the goal of the prosecutors. Let's be fair. That was the goal of the prosecutors, is to muddy that water so the jurors would think that he was been beating her in the past. And they got in and said this was a cycle of him controlling her and dominating and things like that. So they tried to build her up as this victim that had no sense of control over herself, that she was just so weak by him that she basically, in a sense, he was like kryptonite. Like he just made her so weak that she couldn't even think or defend herself or anything, even though we know in the video she was chasing him. And some people may think, go, you get him, girl, good for you. This case has taken on a very interesting turn. I am on pins and needles to see how this verdict turns out, because I did not expect that it would go into another week, especially to me on a Friday, and they could go home and be done with it over the weekend. So if I was Jonathan Major's attorney, I would be very, very concerned that he is at risk of being found guilty of something. And hopefully I'm wrong, but I would be hoping for at least one of those jurors to hold out with a not guilty and get a hung jury, because there's no guarantee the state will retry it. They may, because it's so high profile, but maybe he can get away with a mistrial because they have a hung jury. We're going to see. I mean, I really think the verdict's going to come in sometime next week, whether it's Monday when they resume deliberations or Tuesday or something. But that is coming before Christmas. And maybe some jurors are on their Christmas spirit, and they're going to say, hey, let's not find him guilty, and he's going to go to jail and run his career and things like that. I don't know. This is one unpredictable verdict. My opinion hasn't changed about what I think the verdict should be. I think the just verdict should be a not guilty. And like I said, I'm not saying that I know all the facts and I was there, and I'm not saying he did it. I'm talking about what the state showed and proved creates doubt in my mind. And that's your Nicholson Nugget of the Day. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, and I also want to give a shout out to people that I think have provided excellent coverage, and check out their videos, their YouTube channels, their Twitters. This is called X now. I think Final Fantasy 7, and I don't know some of their real names, but Danny Does Law, she's on Twitter, providing amazing coverage. I think what she's doing is just amazing. Chillmonger, another one that has provided really good coverage. Pam Entertainment TV, another one that's doing really good coverage, and she was kind enough to invite me on her show. And Kat, Katt, those are some places that I think you can go to and see excellent coverage. These are people that have a lot more experience at this YouTubing and the social media thing than I do. I'm really new at this and learning as I go. They have been helpful with making comments on my page, and I've visited all of their websites and social media and look at the things that they do and learn. So shout out to them, and please make sure to like and subscribe or follow those individuals that I mentioned. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.